Coming up next on Sledhead 24/7. Hit the road with Team Hibbert, racing across America for almost half the year. Discover how Tucker and his crew travel the nation and some of their stops along the way. And it's a fair question. Is Tucker the greatest snowcross racer ever? The home of horsepower is fired up. These world-class gearheads can't wait to turn their wrenches on the new Arctic Cat ZR. This new cat plus Speedworks equals big fun. On the snowcross track, racers are looking for any possible edge. For many, Rock's handguards are that edge. Take a lap with Rock's racers to see the difference. North America's best snowmobile TV show, Sledhead 24/7, starts right here, right now.
Let's see if we can get you guys stuck.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Sledhead 24/7, your show for everything snowmobile. I'm your host, Chelsea Scorch, and we're coming to you this week from Moon Motorsports in Monticello, Minnesota. We'll see more from Moon Motorsports, but first, let's start the show out not on the snow, but out on the road. We're gonna ride with fan favorite Tucker Hibbert in his brand new 2019 Ram.
On the road with Team Hibbert, they cross the nation in their Ram truck as they continue to chase another championship.
Oh, it's an awesome vehicle for sure. You know, the Ram truck has been serving us well for quite a few years now, and we just actually drove all the way out here to New York in it. It was, we used to fly a lot, and now with the Ram trucks, we just like driving to the races, and it's a lot more comfortable and definitely more reliable. And it was a long drive, but we're here and ready to rip.
The U.S. Air Force Snowcross National Pro Final is on.
At a race in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, some lucky race fans got a chance to see one of the new Ram Rebels up close.
Well, this is a 2019 Ram Rebel. It's not even out at dealerships right now. I had to pull a few strings to get it here so the fans here at Snowcross can see it for the first time. It's one of the baddest trucks that are going to be out in the market soon. The interior now is totally revamped, as well as we've increased the size of the crew cab, so it's the best-in-class cabin features out there. Well, one of the great features that we have now with this stop-start technology and our towing package is now we can increase the towing capacity to 12,700 pounds of towing. Best-in-class in a V8 engine out there. It'll pull more than just a couple sleds, it'll pull a whole crew of snowmobilers that go out to Snowcross.
Between races, Tucker takes time to meet the fans who support him. On this day in the small town of Elkhorn, Wisconsin, Tucker spent the better part of the day hanging out with fans as they got to test ride the latest Ram trucks.
The fans are excited, they're pumped up for this last race at Lake Geneva, and the weather's warm, the sun's out, everybody's excited for the race weekend, and the track looks good. So we're out here hanging out at the Ram dealer, getting free tickets for test rides. So I think the fans are pretty happy.
The patent they have on the Ram box, which gives you in-bed storage on the sides. It's all lockable, keeps it all dry. We've got the 5.7 Hemi, just lots of different configurations for the Ram, really nice.
Second generation Arctic Cat rider. It's fast.
Who do you want Tucker Hibbert to beat?
Cody Cam.
Thanks for coming to see me. Appreciate it, buddy. Arctic Cat. It's right outside in the back of my truck. You have it?
As a racer, Tucker has very few peers, and off the track, he also has a pretty commanding lead on the competition.
Tucker Hibbert and Team 68 depend on the best truck out there, Ram trucks. We're now joined by Kyle Erickson from Moon Motorsports. He's the owner and sales manager. Kyle, you have an extensive inventory here at Moon Motorsports.
We carry a large selection of motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-side snowmobiles from 9 different manufacturers, along with all the parts and accessories and apparel that you need, FXR gear in stock, and a full service department to support all that.
And where can people find out more about Moon Motorsports?
Our website is moonmotorsports.com. Of course, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Well, thank you, Kyle. Make sure you guys stay tuned. There's more Sledhead 24/7 to come right after this.
When Sledhead 24/7 roars back, hitch a ride with some of the world's greatest snowcross racers. And take a lap with the ROX racers to see the difference ROX safety gear can make. Jeremy Houle and the intrepid crew at Speedworks can't wait to get started on their next project. They invited the Cub into their lair at the home of horsepower for an only at Speedworks kind of story. How to get more power from the already fast new Arctic Cat ZR200. Please stay tuned.
Sledhead 24/7 is brought to you by Amsoil, protect your weekend. By Polaris, Terrain Domination, Arctic Cat, share our passion. Skidoo Snowmobiles, what matters is what's next. And by Ram Trucks, proven to last.
Welcome back to Sledhead 24/7. I'm your host, Chelsea Scorich. Springtime is a great time to buy a new snowmobile. The best part is you have the entire summer to accessorize your sled. Us here at Sledhead 24/7 recommend ROX Speed FX. From the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, ROX has you covered.
Take a lap with ROX. ROX handguards. Strap in as we go on board with some of the world's greatest snowcross racers who use ROX handguards to give them the racer's edge.
And the ROX handguard makes it like really nice and better for us because it's so wet, the snow is so wet out there that our hands can stay dry and it keeps out of the roost, so it's good to have them this weekend.
Comes so much snow and ice flying, so it's nice to don't need to care about what you get on your hands. Like they are always pretty much safe, at least from snow and ice. So that's good. It's a good feeling to don't need to care about it.
ROX handguards are really good. You know, they have a different handguard for any type of weather, cold weather, warm weather. So, you know, it just helps us keep our hands warm, hands clean, and they're a great product.
ROX isn't just used on the snowcross track. From mountain riders to trail riders, ROX has you covered. Check out more information at roxspeedfx.com.
Still ahead, a look back at some of the highlights from AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram. Iron Mike Schroeder relives the 2017-2018 season from the hollowed hills of Spirit Mountain in Duluth to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, New York, and beyond, all the way to the finale at Geneva.
Welcome back to Sledhead 24/7. I'm your host, Chelsea Scorich. Well, the snow is starting to melt, and that means it is the end of the 2017-2018 AMSOIL Championship Snowcross season. And what a year it has been. Let's take a look at the season in review.
The AMSOIL Snowcross, powered by Quick Trip, kicked off the 2017-2018 season in a big way, with a record number of race entries and a massive crowd. In the AMSOIL Dominator, 16 of the world's greatest snowcross racers battled one-on-one in a 2-lap shootout for 10 grand in cash. Defending Open champ Cody Cam continued to dominate, picking his lines precisely and also picking up a check for $10K. The Grand Teton Mountains were the backdrop for rounds 3 and 4, the Jackson Hole Snowcross National presented by Country Cat. In round 3 of Pro Light, Jacob Yurt nabbed the hole shot and piloted his Artie Cat to the front of the pack. Reigning Pro Light champ Aki Palaya worked his way through the field, but on this day, time for all Artie Cat fans to celebrate with a green hue podium. In the big show Friday night, Johan Lidman rode his Artie Cat hard to an early lead with Logan Christian in pursuit. 10-time champion Tucker Hibbert was stuck back in the pack, but not for long. With 1 lap to go, Logan and Tucker were running 1 and 2, and on the last turn before the finish line, Tucker swoops inside to take the lead, the win, and extends his winning streak to 4 in dramatic fashion. Oh, and Tucker dives down underneath! Tucker dived down underneath, was able to make the pass. What a racing move! Canterbury Park is known as the Daytona of Snowcross, and the who's who of the snowmobile world were all on hand. Was this a case of Polaris foreshadowing? Friday night, in the Pro class, Team Henches became the lead story as Cody Cam and Peter Narsa rode to first and second place. Points leader Tucker Hibbert overcame carnage at the start and showed his grit by hanging on with half a handlebar to finish the race. It's true what they say, Deadwood, no rules, no regrets. In round 7 Friday night, Cole Coutu moved through the stack pack for his first win of the season. And Cole made it clear, these boots are made for racing. In the pits, Daniel Benham Jr. and his dad, Daniel Benham Sr., prepped their Artie Cat for the final, and the hard work paid off. The U.S. Air Force Snowcross National roared into the Empire State for rounds 9 and 10. In the Pro class, Cody Cam rode to victory both nights for a sweep. What a weekend for Team Henches in New York. Gary the Groomer shaped a world-class track with the only snow in mid-Michigan for rounds 11 and 12. The ISOC Ops crew can stage a race in just about any condition. In Friday's Pro Final, Johan Lidman grabbed the hole shot for the early lead. Soon it was double trouble as Tim Tremblay and Lincoln Lemieux put on a show for the crowd as Lemieux earned his 3rd career victory. The world's greatest snowcross racers take on the Hawkeye State. Tyson Snowcross National roared back to Dubuque, Iowa amid the mighty Mississippi River. Round 13 Friday night was lucky for Artie Cat with a complete sweep in both the Pro Light and the Pro class. It was 6 for 6 for Artie Cat on the podium. Great racing all year long in the Pro-Am women's class. Megan Brodeur of Anderson Racing on her Skidoo prevailed as she was able to do battle with all of the ladies and took the championship. The grand culmination to a great season has been building, and after 5 months of racing, we have arrived. The Ram Trucks Snowcross Grand Finale at Grand Geneva Resort. Who is the world's greatest snowcross racer? The answer will come from the hallowed hills of Grand Geneva.
Lake Geneva was certainly one for the history books. On Sunday in Geneva, Daniel Benham Jr. and Jacob Yerk battled to the very last race on Sunday. They ended with a 6-point gap with Benham Jr. as your champion. Tucker Hibbert was able to wrap up his 11th Pro Championship. Make sure you guys stay tuned. There's more Sledhead 24/7 to come right after this.
When Sledhead 24/7 returns, the crew from Speedworks teams up with Arctic Cat to give this little cat more claws. The ZR200 may seem small, but in the hands of the gearheads at the home of horsepower, plenty of get up and go await.
Sledhead 24/7 is brought to you by AmSoil. Protect your weekend. By FXR. World-class outerwear. By Stud Boy. Traction with an attitude. Ziegler Cat. Exceptional service. Backing the best equipment. And by U.S. Air Force. Aim high.
Welcome back to Sledhead 24/7. I'm your host, Chelsea Skorich. One of the biggest game changers in the snowmobile industry was the addition of the Arctic Cat ZR200. Well, the boys at Speedworks couldn't wait to get their hands on one, and they've built a bunch of custom accessories that'll make your ZR200 even better.
Hey guys, Jeremy from Speedworks here on this beautiful March winter day. I'm here to talk to you guys about the most exciting thing that's happened in the snowmobile industry in a very long time. You know, this thing it's a trail-friendly snowmobile. It's race-ready. It's the first sled to sell out in dealerships across the country in 2018. It's won multiple Snowmobile of the Year awards. It's a trail-friendly machine. It's a race-ready machine in sanctioning bodies across the country. It's the biggest hit everywhere it goes, whether it be at a show, a demo ride, at the snowshoots, the sneak peeks. Everybody loves this thing. We're talking about the 2018 and 2019 ZR200. So this sled wasn't cool enough. I mean, it's already the greatest thing out there in snow, and it's got everybody excited. Speedworks has jumped in, like we always do with these projects, and we've made things even better. Where we come in to do that, you know, with your smallest rider, how they come right out of the box, they're great. They're set up for the younger guys. You get a little bit bigger guy or a guy who's racing, he's looking for some stiffer suspension stuff. We have an entry-level spring kit that makes the ride a little bit stiffer and sets it up for that little bit bigger kid. And then when you get into your teenagers or your adults, we have a full spring and suspension kit where it does the ski springs, the rear track shock spring, and the rear torsion springs. And then we also add our running board reinforcement kit here to stiffen up the running boards and everything, so when the bigger riders are getting on it, it's not stressing out the chassis and things like that. It makes it a lot more rigid and rougher and better for the bigger kids to ride it. And then on top of that, to put a little flash, we've got one of our billet gas caps on there as well. So a few things we've got going on there. There's a lot of other stuff in the works. The next big thing you'll see coming from us is a Briggs & Stratton engine swap. Similar to what we did on the 120s where we went with their 206 engine. You'll see a similar platform coming from us from them that'll bring this thing from 9 horse, say to 12, 13, 14 horsepower. Great application, something you can bolt in, ride, and have fun. So as everybody knows, we got this super cool sled. Of course, Speedworks had to get into the mix and we had to put our twist on it. We're working on a boatload of performance products for the machine. What we're going to talk to you guys about here today is, you know, we throw you the different size riders that this thing's capable of, from a 6-year-old to a full-size adult. Well, while the sled comes out of the box, it's set up for the young guy, no problem, he can grow from there. You get your medium-sized kid, then we start talking about our Stage 1 spring kit, which is going to come with two new ski shock springs, a set of rear torsion springs, and our billet spring retainers. I'm just going to stiffen that ride up a little bit so that the bigger child or the intermediate-sized child isn't beaten up on stuff. When we get to a full-size teenager, adult, or one who's racing real hard, then we also have a way stiffer rear track shock spring with the billet spring retainer. And then we also do the running board reinforcement kit. This makes the sled a lot more rigid. Believe it or not, we use this very similar parts and pieces that are on the snowcross sleds that we race every weekend on the ISOC tour. So stiffen up those running boards. And then for a little flash and flare, we've got our billet gas caps. We've got a purple one for the 19 models and a black one for the guys that want to go that black route. So parents, I can't stress enough. I mean, in my opinion, I got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old son. We have a blast riding these sleds. If you enjoy winter, you want to be in the outdoors, you want to go out there and experience what winter has to offer, go to your Arctic Cat dealer and check out and see what these ZR200s have to offer. You will not be disappointed.
Well, the kids certainly enjoy riding the ZR200, but parents enjoy it as well. That's all the time we have for this week's episode of Sledhead 24/7. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Who knows, you might ride with us this year. We want to give a big thank you to Moon Motorsports for having us out this week. I'm your host, Chelsea Scorch, and from all of us here at Sledhead 24/7, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the snow.
Please join us next week for a very special edition of Sledhead 24/7 as the crew heads west to Snowshoot. Snowshoot, when all the major manufacturers unveil their 2019 snowmobiles to the major media members. The crew of Sledhead and our hand-picked team of test riders are unleashed for a week of no-holds-barred testing. The result? An unforgettable week in the mountains and trails of West Yellowstone amid some of the most perfect riding conditions on the planet. We ride all the sleds to help you pick the perfect one for you. We'll see you next week from Snowshoot in West Yellowstone, Montana.
Great day.
The Terminator.
Gonna work?
Hey, Joe, you're supposed to test that chair. I thought I did. Well, you didn't do so good. I know you.